Okay, awesome. Hey, good afternoon, guys. I hope you and your loved ones are safe. I would like to thank you all again for taking time to attend Freshworks Huddle. My name is Vail, and I work as a developer relations engineer here at Freshworks. This session is about the recently added front-end framework integration with FTK. The FTK officially supports native local development for React, Vue 2, and Vue 3. The support is added from FTK version 6.10.0. Sorry for that. It was added from 6.10.0. Here's the agenda for today's session. We'll discuss about the needs for a front-end framework in general and with respect to the Freshworks ecosystem, the developer experience associated with this integration, and how the development workflow differs from your regular Freshworks app development workflow, the inner workings of the Freshworks CLI, and how this feature is handled behind the scenes, the limitations and caveats associated with this integration, and finally, we will see a couple of live demos and wrap up with a Q&A. So why do I need a front-end framework? By using a front-end framework in a FTK application, you could provide a better end-user experience by filling in some of the existing gaps in your application. For instance, you can use state management so that the user does not have to refresh the page every time when there is a change in the state of the data. Another example is navigation. We all know how difficult it is to implement navigation in a vanilla JavaScript, let alone inside an iframe that, like we have in Freshworks app. But you can easily handle this with libraries like React Router or Vue Router in a front-end framework application. The front-end framework application code is easy to maintain and collaborate because of the component-first architecture. When using a front-end framework, you have access to a collection of endless libraries, component libraries, such as Vuetify, React Material, and so on. I can't even name everyone and everything in a single slide. Another important reason to use a framework is unit testing. Though we support unit testing for serverless applications in FTK, it is difficult to test front-end applications right now. By using a framework like React or Vue, you can make use of those testing libraries like Jest and Mocha to do unit testing. Also, you can find a lot of packages in the NPM registry for most of the features that you want to add in your application. Maybe just think of a feature and probably there is already a package in NPM to do that. So the developer experience associated with this integration in the FTK. So what's new and how does it affect you as a developer? If you are an experienced developer, if you're an experienced React or a Vue developer, there is no change in how the app is structured to a regular React or a Vue app, except for the fact that the Freshworks app is bundled using Webpack from scratch instead of a React or a Vue CLI. This also means that since we have Webpack-based build system, you could bring in your own Webpack configuration and customize your app the way you want. The build and pack steps are modified to fit into the context of Freshworks developer platform, which means the FTK pack and the FTK run command replaces your typical npm run and npm build commands. So the build assets there is also another change. The build assets are placed inside the app folder instead of a dist or a build folder like in a normal application. This is because the FTK can serve your app through localhost, because the FTK by default serves the app from the app folder. So the integration should ideally support all the front-end framework features. The features that we support. The frameworks that we support. If you can't make a feature work or need assistance in doing that, please do write us in the forum so that we could check it out together and hopefully figure out a solution together. But if you're not a React or a Vue developer and you're new to React and Vue, in this case, or any framework for that matter, working on a Freshworks front-end framework app should be similar to working on an existing Freshworks app. You should be able to get started with very basic knowledge of the framework, like a 10-minute YouTube video or something. Although it is always good to have a strong foundational knowledge of the framework before starting something, right? So here we have two images, or two screenshots rather. The left one is the folder structure of your regular vanilla.js app created using FTK. The one on the right side is a folder structure of a Vue.js app created using the FTK also. So there you can see few new additions like a source folder, a public folder, a package.json. As we all know, a package.json is important for any JavaScript application, let alone a front-end framework application, which this keeps track of all the configuration related to your project, and it keeps track of all the dependencies that you have. Since this is a framework project, we have included that. There is a need to be included. Then there is a public folder, and then there is source folder, which houses all your components. And how does it work? Like I already mentioned, it follows the same FDK app development lifecycle. Write code, run the app, test it in the browser, pack it, and then publish it. So there is no change in the commands that you run. There is as to you run for a regular front-end regular Freshworks application. Only the minor change is that instead of writing code directly into the JavaScript file that you include in your index.html or template.html, you write it in a component, and then the FTK takes care of building that components into a JavaScript file, and then the FTK includes it into the index.html or the template.html you defined in manifest.json. So that's the only difference. So changes to the Freshworks CLI itself. So this section is for those who are interested in how FTK pack and FTK run works behind the scenes to generate the assets. So the FTK uses something called the Webpack Dev middleware, a primitive version of Webpack Dev server to transpile the components real time and then place it in your index.html files. So this also means that you could manipulate the Webpack Dev middleware by giving custom Webpack configurations. And we'll also see a brief demo on how to give custom or how to override the existing configuration through a custom configuration at the end of this session, or rather at the demo part of this session. So here's a diagrammatic representation of how the FTK processes your front-end framework application. So as soon as you trigger FTK run, right, your FTK will look for a package.json in your app folder. So if there is no package.json in the app folder, your FTK will will consider your app as a regular JavaScript app or a vanilla JavaScript app and run the FTK without interference of Webpack. But if there is a package.json, then the FTK parses your package.json and then looks for a configuration that tells that there is a framework used in this application, a front-end framework used in this application. And FTK will also check if that framework is supported by the Freshworks developer platform. In this case, React, Vue 2, and Vue 3. If the framework, if it is a supported framework, the FTK will move on to the next step. The next step of checking. If it's not, the FTK will consider it as a regular JavaScript application and run without a Webpack again. Hold on a sec. We'll run. Okay, so if the framework is supported by FTK, and the FTK will move on to check if there is a custom configuration given by the developer, and the configuration should be valid in this case. So it checks both the path validity and the file validity at this point in time. If it is a valid configuration, the FTK takes your custom configuration and overrides the existing configuration or default configuration and runs the project. But for any case that your configuration is not valid, the FTK will ignore your custom configuration and then falls back to the default configuration and then runs your app. So this is how the FTK processes your front-end framework application. So we've already covered why do you need frameworks, but do you really need a framework every time? Not necessarily. Use a framework only when it makes sense to use one. Use only if you have sufficient knowledge. For example, use only if you have sufficient knowledge of the framework itself. Do not start learning the framework for a new app when you're already in a time crunch. Do not start using the framework just for the sake of using it. Am I still audible? Just a quick check.
Yes, you are.
Okay, sorry. Do not start learning the framework for a new app when you're already in a time crunch, do not use the framework just for the sake of using a framework or just because everyone else is using it. Their requirement might be totally different from yours. And use the framework only if you're going to make use of all the features that the framework offers, right? If you're using React, make sure you use all the features of React, or make use of all the features of React, or at least the important features of React, right? The limitations. As the front-end framework integration is still in its early stages, there are some limitations to it. Currently, we only support two frameworks, React and Vue. We support both versions of Vue, Vue 2 and Vue 3. Although we'll onboard, we are looking forward to onboard new frameworks in the near future and keep on improving the current integration as well. Also, the FTK does not support code coverage and validations for your apps at this point in time. This is only for the front-end frameworks app. Your regular app should be fine, and there is no change in that. We'll also see why the FTK can't support code coverage and validations at this point in time in the demo session of this demo part of this session. Sorry. And which framework do I choose? So there's a lot of factor involved in choosing a framework. Usually choose the one that fits your organization and development workflow. So if you got React developers, choose React, or if you got Vue developers, choose Vue. Or if you're starting to if you're planning to learn a new framework for a project which is down the line, maybe choose something that's got a less of a learning curve, right? Like the meme says, the decision has to be yours, but make sure you choose wisely. And demo alert. So we're going to build an app. So this meme kind of gives it away. Can anyone guess what is that we're going to build in this demo session? Probably in the chat. Maybe we'll just give 20 odd seconds for people to kind of guess. We'll just tell what are we going to build. No, we're not going to build a satellite. Not necessarily. Custom config frame. Okay, so we already have a sample app for this. Okay, so what you see in the picture is International Space Station, and we are going to build a React app that displays the current location of the International Space Station. This will be an interactive coding session in Glitch. Kindly volunteer if you want to join in building this app. I hope like a lot of you people will be interested in building this app together. But before that, let's take a quick detour to my local machine and see how to create a React app right locally by using custom webpack config, and we'll try to pack it using it. Okay. So before that, let's see if we have any Q&As. There is one question.
There is one, Will.
Could someone read the question out to me, because I cannot access it. Okay, I got access to the question.
The question is very simple. Ashrat is asking, yeah, so why is that fresh client script is being loaded? Yeah,
got it, sir. Okay, so Ashrat, to answer your question, React, so your life cycle of your regular JavaScript differs from React. So ideally, the reason why we use UseEffect is because since it's a JavaScript React project, we are using UseEffects. If it is a class-based one, we probably use component mount lifecycle. That is because your component will load before the UseEffect, before the fresh client. In that case, your fresh client will not expose client to all the components, right? And also, there is no way to expose client globally if you do that, because all the components will essentially render before your fresh client, and that's it. Your fresh client exposes itself. Right? So that's the reason why we use that. Probably, maybe you could try it by including directly in the index.html that you will get a error in the console saying that client is it's because your entire JavaScript application is loaded before the client gets a chance to load. Client gets a chance to load. So that is the reason why you're using a use of it hook in this case. Okay. I hope that answers your question. Okay, so I am going to share my Visual Studio Code now. I am going to share desktop completely so that we could. Just give me a second. Let me figure this out. Okay, what's up? Okay, so let me know if you guys can see my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here's my VS. I have an empty folder here. I have my terminal open. So this is an empty folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new React app here. Before that, let me just check my FTK version. Not going to update right now. So the framework is supported starting from version 6.1. It's exactly what I have in my local machine. And then the node write runtime should be 10 plus, not 10 plus. It should be 10 for the current FTK version. So prerequisites all set. So let me create a new Freshworks app, new React using FTK create. And how do we choose a product? Another thing that you guys have to keep in mind is that right now we only have templates only for Freshdesk. If you guys wish to create a React app for other products, it should be as simple as renaming the product name in a manifest.json. Okay? So you choose Fresh, and then I'm going to choose the React. Choose the React app. So since it's a React, there is going to be a lot of development and production dependencies here. So what I'm going to do is like I'm just going to run an npm install in the newly created project. So while the dependencies are being installed, just go and check the folder section of React app, right? So this is what my React app looks like. So the first folder is mocks folder. So I don't know how you guys read it. It is __mock. So it's essentially a folder that just requires to fill manual mocks. For example, you cannot actually test SVGs and
Well,
type of tests. Yes.
sorry to interrupt, but your voice is a little bit dangling. Is there anything that you can, set up your mic properly or something like that?
It goes in and out, like as if your mic is moving.
Probably I'll switch off my fans. Okay, I think it should be better now.
Yeah. This sentence was clear. Thanks.
Okay. Awesome. So I hope you guys okay, so what I essentially did is I created a new app, a new React app. And I also mentioned that we only have templates only for Freshdesk at this point in time. But if you choose to create a React app for other products, it should be as simple as renaming the product in the manifest.json file. So we have a manifest.json, and in manifest, we define the product that we create apps for. If you want to create for Fresh service, it should be as simple as creating, renaming this Freshdesk to Fresh service. So right now I have a Freshdesk app here, and I've also ran npm install because a React app has a lot of production and development dependencies. So while that is running, let us talk about the folder files and folders in the React app, right? The first folder I have is mocks folder. So this is for just manual mocks. So for example, if I have to test a component that involves in any kinds of assets like images or SVGs, I could use this mocks to fill in that gap. And then we have an app folder, so which is common to all Freshworks application. There is no change in here. The app folder has an icon and an index.html. So this is the index.html that is referred in your manifest.json here. So essentially, this is a pathway to your Freshworks application. And then there is an icon.svg, which is the icon that is displayed in the placeholders. And then you have config folder. You guys already know about the config folder. So this is for hyperAMPS configuration, and then node modules. So this is created after I run the npm install. So it has all the dependencies that my React app needs. Then there is a public folder. So the public folder has a file called index.html. So this index.html is nothing but a template. Whenever I run the FTK run command, it essentially invokes Webpack, right? So the Webpack takes this index.html as a template and builds this index.html. So for example, if you want to include something like a CDN or a style sheet, essentially you will not include a style sheet for a React app directly in the index.html. But if you choose to include a CDN here, do not include it in this index.html because this will keep on be overwritten. Will be overwritten often whenever the FTK runs. Make sure you write make sure you put in the CDN links in this index.html because this is a template to this index.html, right? So then we have source folder. The source folder is where you write all the components. So we have assets folder, which has assets, and components folder, hooks folder. So these are just for organization purposes, right? So you can rename these folders if you want, but you cannot rename the source folder unless you are overwriting the existing configuration, right? Hope that makes sense. And then we have components here. And then we have Babel configuration. Babel configuration, Babel is essentially a JavaScript compiler. So when we invoke Webpack uses the Babel configuration to invoke Babel to compile your JavaScript, right? And then there is a just config. So this is for initializing the unit test cases. And then we have manifest.json file, which is common to all Freshworks application. And then we have a package.json file. So we already discussed, like your package.json has scripts, configurations related to your front-end application, dependencies, dev dependencies. And then you will see some configuration that is really interesting, something called FTK config. So what does this FTK config do? So this FTK config essentially tells your FTK that this particular project is running a front-end framework. And then there is a subconfiguration called front-end framework, which will tell the FTK that tell the name of the framework. So this could be Vue 2 or Vue 3 for those corresponding projects, right? So for this project, it is React because it is a React project, obviously. And then there is another subconfiguration called config path. So the config path is can be left empty for a regular application. But if you are overriding the default Webpack configuration, you have to give the path to your new Webpack configuration here. I just have to tell you that this is not the file name, but rather the file path, right? So we have that here. And okay, so that is the folder structure of a React app. So let's go to the terminal and run this app. So FTK run. So this might take a couple of seconds compared to your normal app because the Webpack has to compile all the components into assets and serve it. Oh, it's done quicker than usually. So let's go to a browser and check what happened, right? So I have a portal here with the tickets page open, and I've also opened a question mark Dev equal to true to look for local projects. Let me refresh the page. I don't need terminal console here. Okay, So I refresh the page, and then there you can see the React app down below, right? So this is what my FTK is serving right now. So whatever I see here is a component. So if you go to your React app and look into a source folder, components JS. So this is what is currently getting rendered in my ticket sidebar. Another thing that you have to keep in mind is that this component is not getting served directly. So my Webpack done all these compilation and created a new folder called scripts in the app folder, and then put in all the built assets into the app folder. And then it included it in my index.html that is present in app folder. Because if you've already seen, if you have noticed earlier, there was no script in there, right? So if I undo it, there is no script in there. So what my FTK essentially did is it compiled all these assets from all the components from the source folder, created new assets, and included them in the index.html. So that is what my Webpack did. And so enough talking about the Webpack. So let me go and make some changes in the component just to show you that I'm not lying, right? So let me go and make a change here. So let me change K from I from K. Oh, it changed, right? So what it is like, it did the whole compilation process again in 269 milliseconds, and then it served my component in the local host, right? So this is what this is how your normal FTK React app works. But there is a high possibility that you may not like our default configurations, right? So what do you do to run a custom configuration or custom Webpack configuration in this case? So in this case, if you look at this React app, right? There is no configuration that is related to Webpack, or there is no Webpack configuration here. So that is something that you have to create on your own. Lucky for me, I have something stashed here. So this is a Webpack configuration. So what I'm going to do is I am going to copy this Webpack configuration and place it in my React app root folder, right? So let me explain this configuration to you guys. So I've already told you that the default Webpack configuration builds all the components and creates a new folder called scripts and includes in the index.html, right? So I created a new Webpack configuration that will compile all the components and put it in a folder called JS instead of scripts, right? So to check if it's working, let me delete the scripts folder. I mean, don't worry about the scripts folder. It is auto-generated. So every time you run an FTK command, it will generate. So don't worry about it. So I have the custom config here, and I've stopped my FTK server. And now I have a custom config. Now I have to tell my FTK where to look for, right? So now that is where the custom config path comes into play. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a path to this file. So webpack.config.js. Again, I have to reiterate here, this is not the file. This is not just the file name. This is the path. So for example, instead of placing webpack config in the root folder, if you have placed it in a folder called webpack, so this should be the config path value, right? Since it is in the root folder, I am just giving webpack.config.js, right? So I gave the path. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run FTK run again. And I am hoping an error here. And here it is. So the reason why we get this error is because in the default configuration, so if you look at the Webpack configs, right? So there are a lot of dependencies used in this Webpack config, right? In the default configuration, all these dependencies are packed into FTK itself. But now we are running the config locally to your folder or to your app rather. Your app does not have these dependencies installed, right? So that is the reason you get an error here. So in order to overcome that, I also have another command stashed here. So these are the dependencies that are used in the custom Webpack config here. So I am going to install all these dependencies. So meanwhile, while these dependencies get installed, let me check if I have any questions to take. right? Okay. An open question.
We have
Why
only
we
one
have
question
sample
about.
apps available to check
Yeah.
out? We do, Janani. We do have sample apps. There is an announcement in the forum, and it has a list of sample apps that you can refer to. Right. So I've installed all the Webpack dependencies here. Now let me run FTK run, right? So it is still going to take a couple of seconds. Okay. So now you can see that the assets are served from JS folder instead of scripts folder, right? So this is a pretty basic configuration. This is a basic configuration change. There are a lot of other powerful stuff you can do by writing a custom configuration, like minimizing JavaScript, and there are a lot of things that I can't explain in a single video. You can do all of those, but let us check if this configuration actually is effective, right? Though it created a JS folder, we have to still verify this thing works, right? So let me refresh the page again. We have a React app, and it says, hey, Morgan. And why don't I just go to the component, that component again, and change to the original I, right? Okay, here it is. So our custom Webpack config works, right? So this is custom Webpack configuration. Now that we've done all the development and configuration works, right? Let us try to pack our Webpack app, our React app, right? So I run FTK pack, and that invokes the Webpack and then compiles all the assets, which is in the app folder, and then packs it into a zip file and puts it in the dist folder, like your regular FTK application. But in this case, you see a lot of warnings here, right? This is because the FTK is programmed to run validations for all the JavaScript files that is present in app folder. And that is where you usually do a development work in a regular, in a normal vanilla JS application, right? But this is a special scenario. In this case, the validations has to be run against the contents of source folder, because that is where you actually write your code. These stuff is auto-generated. So that is the reason why you get all these warnings. You can ignore it for now and go ahead and submit your apps for review, or you can upload it as a custom app. We'll try to fix this in the coming iterations of FTKs. But if you want to have linting and other things or validations for your app, feel free to write custom ESLint configurations for your front-end applications, and your app should be able to support that. There will not be any issues with that. We are totally okay with it, right? So this is so we are done with the local demo. So let's jump on back to Glitch and see if we can get some volunteers and do some interactive coding, right? So somebody would have already shared you a glitch link in the chat. If not, they'll share it right away. So so if you guys want to volunteer, please click the link and then ask to join the project. Then we can do some interactive coding, right? Meanwhile, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my glitch screen and then explain you guys what are we going to build today, right? Awesome. So here you go. So I hope you guys can see my glitch screen, which is still loading. That is totally fine. You will also get the same, most probably. So what we're going to build using glitch here is that we already discussed in the slides, International Space Station Locator. So what you see in glitch under the workspace directory is essentially a React app, right? So that is something that is also similar to that, similar to the one that we seen in the local demo. So what this app essentially does is 8. Oh, okay. I am going to, there are a lot of volunteers here. Okay. I am letting in 2 people and there's one more. Okay. I think I invited him already. Okay. So I think you guys have to send the invite once. I've already let you guys in. Please check if you can actually make some changes in the file here. Awesome, guys. So while that happens, right, let me just tell you, hold on a sec. So while that happens, right, okay, so who do we have here? Can you guys please type something in the code here, allow user.js component, so that I exactly know you guys have access to this thing. Okay, awesome. We have Ashit here. Okay, awesome, Ashit. So I'm going to comment your whatever you type, and that's great. So we have a glitch app here. So this glitch app is exactly the clone of what we saw in the local demo. So this is a pretty basic app. I just made some changes, right? Instead of all the icons, I've just added a couple more paragraph tags here. So let us go to our portal and see what this app renders. This is going to take a bit more time to actually load here. So sorry for the wait, guys. Yeah, so I have a workspace folder here, and this is what my app renders, right? So hi Will Murugan, or hi your agent name. The current location of the International Space Station is latitude, longitude, longitude. So what are we going to build is something that replaces these 2 words, right? A latitude to a valid latitude, a longitude to a valid longitude, right? So how are we going to do this? So we have the hello user.js component, right? And in this component, we are already making use of data methods to display the agent's name, and we are using React states for that. So essentially, what the state does is, state is something that you declare a variable and then you declare a function to update that variable, and your HTML will take values from the variable itself. For example, here name is the variable, and then set name is a function. So whenever you want to update the variable name, set name, variable name, you will just invoke the set name function with the value that you want updated. For example, in this case, this updates name to Vail Murugan, right? So this is exactly how we are going to do for latitudes and longitudes. So that is why I have 2 states for latitude and longitude. Please don't tell me we could do it with 1 state. We could, but this is for the sake of this demo. So yeah, before you guys start editing, let me just explain what I have here. So Ashit is pretty enthusiastic and he's always started coding. So I'm just going to explain to the rest of you guys. So I have API base URL, which is this URL. This gives you the location of your international space station, which is a satellite, and the satellite ID is this, right? And here you have a sample endpoint. So what this endpoint exactly does is, it tells you the location of international space station at this given time. So for our example, our given time is the time that you're going to make a request to, or the time this timestamp executes at, right? So we also construct a request URL. So the request URL is something, it's a concatenation of the API base URL and the current timestamp, right? So what Ashit and Rajesh are going to do here is they're going to use the request method to get the location of the international space station and update these 2 values, latitude and longitude, right? So probably Ashit can take latitude and Rajesh can work on longitude. And if I have someone else, probably they can work on the catch function, right? So what I'm going to do is, if I have another volunteer, I am going to Okay, so someone has already started it. So yeah, so let's, while Rajesh and Harshit code, let us check if you have any questions. So we have a React developer tools to view state of, gotcha. So right now, there is a hack to do this. Like probably we'll share a Stack Overflow link to check or how to use React developer tools for the React apps that render inside an iframe. So there is a hack for that. Officially, you cannot actually view it in the browser, but there is a Stack Overflow thread to enable this. So we'll be able to share it with you in the forum or someplace else post this session. Right? And okay. Okay, so I guess that will not work. So whoever is okay. Yeah, okay. So you have to set the state. You don't have to set the, you cannot set the variable latitude and longitude. You have to use a set state function. In this case, it has to be set latitude, set longitude of latitude and longitude. So this, it's something like this, right? So for example, I am not sure if you actually get longitude and latitude here. It should be something like set latitude of latitude. So here's a, okay, so that won't work. So this is what, there is a hint in line number 76. If you look at the hint, right, it should be that hint at line number 76 should give you the exact latitude. Look for line number 75 in this case. I guess Ashit is the one that is working on latitude. So there is a hint in line 74, 75 now on how to get the latitude from the response. Right? I don't know if that works. We'll probably figure it out if it works or not, right? Yeah, sure. Yeah, so okay, so no, I mean, there are two different things here. Okay, so I am pretty sure longitude will work in this case. No, actually it was correct earlier. Okay. Okay, got it. Awesome, guys. I think longitude is fine for now. I mean, whoever is working on latitude, like, can I save it and check if it works? Yeah, let me reload the frame. Awesome, guys. We have both latitude and longitude. Great, Ashit. Great, Rajesh. Thanks for your time. So this is what this app does. And we were able to get the correct output. But if you guys want to extend this app, right? So since we have latitude and longitude, this will roughly tell where the International Space Station is flying across a specific latitude and longitude. But if you guys want to extend this particular app, maybe you could use some geocoding APIs and feed in these latitude and longitude and tell us exactly on top of which city or which landmark the International Space Station is hovering over. So maybe that could be an fun project for you guys to work on. Maybe if you get time to work on that, feel free to share it in the forum, and we'll be happy to take a look at it and share it across the community. Now that is done. Okay, so that part is done, guys. I think thank you for your time, Harshit and Rajesh. It's great. Probably we can also use the same way that latitude is set for longitude. Okay, guys, awesome. Thanks for your time. Now going back to the slides, right? We've already seen these things. So now we have a couple of tutorials and sample apps for you guys to get started with. But if you are an advanced user and you wish to write sample app or tutorial on how to do something with the front-end framework in the context of Redshift platform, right? Feel free to write us in the forum or contact one of the developers and DevRels. We will work together to get those content out to the larger audience and share it with the community. Please do write us. And also there are a lot of other tutorials and sample apps coming your way in the next couple of weeks. We've already have a couple of things in the pipeline. And we also have a documentation site specifically dedicated for people who are working with React and Vue apps. And also there is going to be a dedicated Slack channel for us to interact with and get help from Freshworks engineers in terms of this integration. So looking forward to work with you guys.